Welcome back, watch friends. We've got an amazing episode for you today. We're talking about Breguet and we're washing balls. That's right, I just found this ball right here, which is like a couple dollars basically, right? And I lose a lot of balls on these courses. 10 balls easily, they get lost in the grass. So we're off to a good start here. We're talking about Breguet and why it's a shitter brand. You need to avoid this brand. All the grifters and scammers are now spooking Breguet, and I'll explain to you exactly why. When I say grifters and scammers, I'm talking about Archie Luxury, the Dirty Sanchez, what's the name? Urban Gentry, the fake aristocrat. You got the JJ Bukiak, the guy who wears the baseball cap indoors, a Bukiak, and then you got who else? Oh, and then we got a new member, a new member has joined the grift. We're talking about one of the biggest grifters out there, the pedo vibes. We're talking about the O-Cuck, aka this gentleman who calls himself the original OC on these watch channels. He's like calls himself like an internet personality. Look, this guy's he's a sick degenerate. He's a creepy guy. The ick factor. Okay, the ick factor. That's what it is. Okay. This is a 55-year-old man who collects Disney castles, Disney princess castles, and wears size 7 Skechers shoes, and has been grooming some of the young gentlemen in the watch community. That's right. These guys, he likes to basically go to these different watch meetups and share a hotel room. I mean, he's making an excuse. Oh yeah, we're trying to save money. Shares hotel rooms with Tim Wright. I mean, this is the guy that took Tim Wright to Geneva watch show and took him shopping for a haircut, manicure, anal waxing and bleaching. I mean, who does that? That's a little creepy, no? A little bit weird. Then he's moved on to other young gentlemen's. He's got a type, this guy. But anyway, he's now spooking Breguet. And why is that? Well, I'll explain to you. He basically is looking to get kickbacks and get his back door greased up. He's looking to get his back door greased up from various dealers. So he's a sassy event and party planner. What this guy does is he sets up these watch dinners. And then he brings in, some grifter from one of these ADs who tries to sell you stuff, for full price. Okay, now when you buy a Breguet, Breguet, minimum 50% off. Okay, Breguet is not worth more than a minimum 50% discount. You got to get a 50% discount on Breguet. Okay, it's a piece of shit. Okay, and I'll explain to you why it's a piece of shit. But it is a piece of shit, and unless you get a 50% discount, you're going to lose your money. Okay, it's a scam. It's owned by Swatch Group. It's a fugazi. Okay, now this guy, he's getting his back door greased by the ADs. That's why he's pushing Breguet, just like he was pushing Booker and other shitter brands that these guys can't sell, because he gets credits, kickbacks, whatever. Look, these guys have multiple grifts going. Like Archie Luxury's got multiple grifts. Artem Pizdets. You got the Taliban Pillsbury Doba with Taliban Beard. You got JJ Bukiak. You got the Urban Gentry. You got the Grifter of Venice, Oisin O'Malley. You can't keep track of these scammers. There's so many of them. They're proliferating. It's like it rains and it's like mushrooms. But yeah, so here's why Breguet, I'm telling you right now, why it's a shitter brand and why I've compared it to BMW, which is, again, a shitter brand. By the way, look at it this way, right? We just found out, the Breguet. So who owns a Breguet? And this, by the way, this tells you exactly everything you need to know about the brand, the shit people. Archie Luxury owns 3 Breguets. Archie Luxury, the Bogan of Brisbane, the guy who's got no taste, the guy who's driving a 3 Series BMW, middle-aged man with horns growing out of his head, doesn't shampoo his hair ever. He's driving oil leaking, coolant leaking shitter car that's upside down when he could have bought a look. And he's the guy that's been telling me I made a bad decision with the vintage Bentley, vintage 2006. Which has been a fine car. It can do 200 miles an hour. No maintenance issues. Why? Because it's the best car that Volkswagen ever made. That's right. It's a Volkswagen platform, not BMW. I would never buy BMW because, everybody knows. Anybody who's got any brains knows it's a shitter car. It's it's unless you're like a high school girl. It's a dream car for like a suburban high school girl from a wealthy family to get a 3 Series convertible, no, or like a gay hairdresser, or like a, it's sort of like an upgrade from a Lesbaru. If you're like a cinematographer in Chatsworth, California, like a certain Keslowitz, you might want to buy a BMW 3 Series. But by the way, that's another guy that's being groomed by the O'Cuck. So the O'Cuck right now, he's got his target on at least three. Tim Wright. Actually, no, he may have moved on. He may have been spurned. He may have been spurned by Tim Wright. He's now grooming, who's that? Soigego. He's grooming the Keslowitz, the Prince of Porn Valley. And he's grooming, I think there's a new guy actually, which is actually, I didn't realize it was his type, but this guy, there's some guy with tattoos that's doing videos. Apparently he's a BMW collector. We had a post, I forgot his name, but he's some guy that does videos. And Christopher Negroni. Actually, I've not seen his videos, but I saw a screenshot. I think I was watching the Curly program on speed. When you watch these Curly videos, you gotta put them on just click through, because they are entertaining, but only you can't watch for 5 hours. You gotta watch for 10 minutes. Click 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, and you're getting that's how you get the information, and it's good information, right? Because we gotta know what's going on in the community. That's why I watch this. I invest 10 minutes of time to click through there and find out what the newest scams are, so I can help you avoid it, so I can warn you. Now, why is Breguet shit? Let me get to the point. We're almost there. So Breguet, again, it's a Fugazi brand. It's a Phoenix brand. The Breguet today it's not the Breguet of 300 years ago. It's a company that went out of business. It's like Jacques Dro, like whatever. Look, Swatch Group is a bunch of grifters. Okay, they got this Blanc Pawn is another Fugazi invented brand. They claim it was started in 1700 or whatever. There was no company. It was all made up. I mean, they were caught in multiple lies many times. Okay, Blanc Pawn is a fake company. Now, is it a good watch? Actually, it's a pretty decent watch. Blanc Pawn is a pretty decent watch. I think they've done good marketing for the last 50 years. I remember their ads from the 80s. When I was a teenager. Actually, no, I wasn't. I was not a teenager in the 80s. I'm not that old, but I remember seeing their ads. I was impressed. And what do you call it? But yeah, it's just another made-up company. So Swatch owns Jacques Dro, Breguet, Blanc Pawn, and a couple of other Fugazi brands, right? Now, look, the thing is, people, consumers, they like these stories. They like a story. They're buying into a story, these heritage brand stories. Oh, it's 300 years old. Oh, this was the first, this, that. Yep. By the way, I know how this works because yours truly, the Colonel, I actually own a heritage brand from 1843. Believe it or not, it's a totally unrelated business, not in the watch business. And yeah, it's actually very useful to have something like that. It's a good story. People like that story. And it has value, okay? Believe me, like literally, it's very valuable, okay? So, the point is, but the Breguet today is nothing to do with the old one. But that's not the issue. Here's the issue I have. Here is my big problem with Breguet. I've mentioned this before. They're basically doing the equivalent of reproduction furniture, okay? So, look, you have... Okay, so I'm sure you guys know, you guys are all sophisticated here, so Eames furniture, Knoll furniture, all that mid-century modern bullshit, right? So look, you have Herman Miller, you have Knoll that produces that stuff, right? And they've been making it for the last, 50 years. And there's a big difference if you buy the original, made by Herman Miller or by Knoll, or you buy one of these cheap Chinese reproductions, okay? Now, the Chinese cheap reproduction looks very similar. The quality's not there. Or, forget about that. I'm talking about, you have also, you have 18th century French furniture, right? Made by these, the Méteurs, whatever. Wood carvers, beautiful stuff. You had, Boule, right? You have all these different guys, right? But then you also have these fucking guys making that reproduction stuff now in China, in Egypt, in Bukakistan, in Kakistan, Chomostan, etc., right? So there's a lot of, but it's fake. It's basically fake. And that's what Breguet is. They're copying an antique style. We're in the year 2025, and they're making a copy of a watch they're copying a design language from 300 years ago. Now, look, there is a place for it. There is a place for that type of thing. But I think with Breguet, look, I think there's a place for it when it's artisanal, right? Like you have that guy, the English guy. You have a couple of these English tomato cans that were making these artisanal watches. They go for big money. I mean, they're handmade, completely handmade. There's innovation. There's, you guys know who I'm talking about. They're like two English guys. One died, one is still alive, but they go for like 500 grand or more at auction. It's all completely, the guy makes it all himself, etc. And he does the same bullshit, guilloche, all that stuff, right? There's a guy in LA who does this, Josh Shapiro. Same guilloche bullshit, okay? He makes the watches right here in LA. Well, I'm not in LA, but you understand, right? So, but he actually does some innovation. He does kind of a little more modern design, etc. So he's not like the lugs and the Breguet. They're trying to make this thing look like, I don't know what they're trying to do. Look, I think Breguet, actually, look, if you're going to buy Breguet, you got to buy the stuff from the 80s into the early 90s. 80s into the early 90s, it's Daniel Roth when he revived it. He copied, the old design language, but at least he was, that was the real deal. And he's the real deal, Daniel Roth, right? Again, also, he's an innovative guy. Like if you look at his watches, they're, it's innovative, right? So the problem with Breguet is it's owned by Swatch. Oh, so this Bukiak, this J, not J. Okay, so who do we say? Did I mention who owns these Breguets today? You got Archie Luxury, the Bogan of Brisbane. You got JJ Bukiak. You got the Bukiak, JJ Bukiak watch hanging. That's the guy who does fake. He's like a carny. He does those rigged horse races on his channel to steal your children's lunchbox money, literally, like rigged carnival games. He's got the baseball cap indoors, and then, he's okay. So then you get the Dirty Sanchez mustache. You got Urban Gentry. So that's Bukiak, Urban Gentry, fake aristocrat. You got Bogan of Brisbane. Bogan of Brisbane. He's got three of them. So that's when you know there's a real problem with Breguet. Whenever Archie goes into something deep, he always ends up upside down, and just like his BMW that's failing badly and leaking oil and coolant. Like a BMW should. That's what's going on, my friends. The BMW, the Breguet, they both start with B. And you know what B stands for? B stands for Bukiak, okay? B stands for Bukiak. So don't be a Bukiak, okay? The whole point of this channel is for you to make money with watches, okay? Everything we talk about on this channel is money-making information. So don't get scammed by this mooch bums. This bum O'Cuck with the size 7 Skechers, collecting Disney princess castles, pedo vibes, grooming the Artem Pizdets. I mean, this guy's a sex trafficking Ukrainian migrant. That's right. Artem Pizdets is a Ukrainian migrant, poor Ukrainian refugee who's being sex trafficked by the O'Cuck. That's right. Now, why am I saying he's being sex trafficked? Well, I don't know. I mean, I never heard of a straight man taking another man to go clothes shopping for a haircut, manicure, anal waxing, possibly. I don't know. Splitting hotel rooms together. Weird stuff like that. It's just a little bit. Listen, it's not me saying it. It's 50 Cent. You know who 50 Cent is? You don't know who 50 Cent is? You Google it. But anyway, there's a gentleman named 50 Cent who's a musician, and he was saying he was being groomed by Diddy, Puff Daddy, and he was always creeped out by Puff Daddy. And what really was the signal to him that Puff Daddy, aka Diddy, something was up, was he offered to take him clothes shopping. And there's a video. Look at the video on YouTube. And he said, listen, it's just not normal for a straight man to take another man clothes shopping. It's just weird. I don't know. It just doesn't happen. I mean, possibly, but I never heard of it. So I think what's going on is so apparently this groomer was trying to groom Artem Pizdets, and I guess Artem Pizdets escaped. Maybe he was deported back to Ukraine or Chomostan, wherever he's from, whatever shithole country they bring in these shitheads from. That's what's going on, gentlemen. And so stay away from Breguet. It's a shitter watch. You're gonna lose your money. Okay, this guy's getting kickbacks from the ADs. He's telling you about a 250-year anniversary, which is all bullshit. It's a fake 250-year anniversary for a company that was not around. Okay, it's a fraud. Okay, don't be suckered. Okay, this guy's trying to steal your tuition money, your children's tuition money, and it's a fugazi. Okay, it is a complete fugazi. So don't be dodo birds. Okay, don't be buffaloes. Don't be crayon eaters, window lickers, and bukyaks, okay? So leave your nasty, vicious comments below. See you in the next one.